Hi guys, it's Emily from Smart Home Sounds. We're a home audio retailer and have been selling Sonos products for over 9 years now. Today we have a really exciting video for you. We're going to be talking all things Sonos Radio. So if you haven't heard, Sonos have just announced their brand new venture, Sonos Radio, which is available for all Sonos users to access for free now on their Sonos app. In this video, I'm going to give you a bit of a guided tour on the app and explain exactly what Sonos Radio is and what you can do with it. So let's get started. First things first, Sonos Radio is available right now. So that means it's compatible with the current S1 app. An updated S2 app is due later this year, so it's great that people who are unable to upgrade to S2 due to having legacy products in their setup can still access this new feature. If you're unfamiliar with the new app, I'll pop a link in the description below with more information on that. So back to Sonos Radio. If you haven't already been prompted to update your app, you'll need to do that. So go into Settings, then tap System, scroll all the way down and tap System Updates, and then you need to press Check for Updates, and that will tell you if you're on the latest version of the app and if you need to update or not. Now, any future Sonos users will find Sonos Radio already in their app, set up and ready to go. So Sonos Radio can be broken down into 3 different sections. So first you've got Sonos Presents, then you've got Sonos Stations, and finally you've got local and global radio stations. So the local and global stations element is pretty much the same as TuneIn if you're familiar with that. So Sonos Radio offers over 60,000 local and global radio stations, which include music stations, sports, news and more. And they've combined multiple internet radio stations including TuneIn and iHeartRadio, and they're going to be adding more further down the line to provide this list of stations. So what we like about this is the direct partnership with providers, ensuring you're going to get the best integration experience possible moving forward. So this section here shows the local radio stations to use. So we're based in Gloucestershire, so that's why we've got these ones here. It'll be different wherever you are. Here are the featured stations, so that's from all around the world. So that includes BBC Radio 1, you've got TalkSport there. And then beneath you've got the different categories you can browse from. So for example, if you were looking for a sports station, you just tap on sports, and then you can browse different sports stations around the world to listen to. Now if there's a specific station you're after, you can of course use the search section, so just tap search, make sure you've got stations highlighted, and then just search for what you want to look for. So if I just put in BBC Radio 1, you'll see first of all you've got the Sonos Radio options here, and then beneath you've got the search results for TuneIn. So that's all pretty straightforward and exactly what you'd expect from a radio feature. So let's move on to some of the more exciting sections of Sonos Radio. So here you can see Sonos Stations. Now this section is very similar to individual playlists and different genres, and if you follow Sonos on social media you might have seen some of their playlists which look very similar to this. But they provided over 30 different stations curated by Sonos to choose from, and as you can see there's a complete mix of genres, so there really should be something here for everybody. Now, unlike a playlist, you can't skip songs on this section, which is more similar to a radio show, and they do offer ads in this section. Now, I've been listening to one of the stations for a couple of hours this morning and I didn't notice any ads, so if they were there, they're definitely very discreet. But there are some pros and cons of these stations. So on one hand, it's great for discovering or rediscovering music, and as you can choose from the different genres that you're most interested in, it should be the sort of music you like. Now, while we were listening, we did discover some artists and songs we really liked, but have never actually heard of before. However, you're not going to love every single song, and you aren't able to skip them, so you might have to listen to the song you're not so keen on. For example, I was listening to this 80s Flash station earlier, and I got stuck listening to Last Christmas by Wham, and it's April, so that wasn't a particular highlight, but in general it was a lot of songs I liked and would normally listen to. Now, some people might choose not to use this section because they're happier listening to playlists where you can skip songs and reorder it to suit you. However, we think it's quite a quick way to listen to music in a certain genre, and it means that people will be able to access this type of music without having a subscription to a streaming service, which is a really great feature, and I think that's going to be a real bonus for a lot of Sonos users. So now let's move on to the final section, which is perhaps the most exciting part of Sonos Radio, which is Sonos Presents, and that features 2 different stations. So the first one is this Sonos sound system, which is an original radio program from Sonos, which is going to feature hand-picked DJs and artists. Sonos have actually converted one of their retail stores in Soho so that they could record and produce their own content, and they've actually created this ad-free station which is curated and hosted by Sonos, featuring all different genres. So it's an opportunity for you to discover new, well-known or even rediscovered music. They'll also be hosting an hour-long stream every Wednesday with different artists with music and commentary, which is going to be a great opportunity to get to know these artists a bit better with behind-the-scenes stories and the chance to listen to the songs that have inspired them. The second section is Artist Stations, which is also ad-free, and that's going to feature hand-curated stations by lots of different artists. So as you can see here, their first show was curated by Tom York, who's the Radiohead lead singer and songwriter. Now I gave this a listen earlier, and it does take you on quite an audio journey of different genres and sounds, and it's definitely really interesting. It's not normally something I would pick to listen to, but I did really enjoy listening to it, and it made me think I'm going to listen to some of the other ones coming out in the future. So they have announced that they've got a few more coming in the next couple of weeks. So they've got one station from Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes, and one from David Byrne from Talking Heads. So that'd be really interesting to hear those. So with Sonos Radio, we think Sonos are trying to bring together streaming radio services with their own set of curated stations, which are going to be featuring highlighted artists and different genres to offer something a little bit different. Sonos have stated that their radio station isn't going to receive any preferential treatment over the other options, and you are able to hide it from your app if you don't want to use it at all and you'd prefer to stick to something like TuneIn to listen to the radio. In general, I think that the user experience is really clean and really good with Sonos Radio. It's easy to navigate, especially if you're already used to using the Sonos app. Now, while some of the features are available via paid streaming services, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how much people gravitate towards this new section as opposed to going to their normal playlists or albums. We personally think that it's an opportunity to find or rediscover artists or songs that you haven't heard of before or that you've completely forgotten about, especially if you don't currently have a paid music subscription. Do let us know in the comments your thoughts on Sonos Radio. If you've given it a go, what sections did you like? What bits were you not so keen on? It'd be really interesting to hear from you guys and what you think of it. But that just about wraps up this video. If you've got any questions or you need any advice, we're always more than happy to help. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, as we've got more exciting Sonos content coming very soon. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.